Just give it a few more minutes to see if people are coming in.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we'll get started. Good evening. Welcome to the Easton School Planning Committee meeting of Wednesday, December 21st, 2022. In keeping with an act relative to extending certain state of emergency accommodations, this meeting will be conducted remotely over Zoom. Attendance by committee members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards quorum. The meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on ECAT. First item on the agenda are our minutes of November 16th, 2022. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or edits? I can't see everyone, so just shout out if you do.
Jackie, it's Caroline.
Caroline, go ahead.
Unless I have completely lost my mind, I do believe that I attended that meeting, but I don't see my name on the list of attendees. I also went on the tour.
Okay.
So I just wanted to add my name to the list. Thank you.
Sure. Any other? Nothing? Okay, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second. Martin.
Okay, great. All in favor, roll call vote. Weintraub?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Carlson? I know I saw Ken somewhere there. Okay, Ken, we'll come back to you. O'Neill?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Vamosi?
Vamosi was not at the meeting, so I'll abstain.
Okay. Helen?
Yes.
Cedarbaum?
Abstain.
Sabri?
Yes.
Dottie, are you here? I can't see if you're here. Nope.
Make it tonight.
Okay. And I can't see if Dr. Cabral is here. Okay. And Wiseman, yes. Great. Okay. So next item on the agenda, construction progress update. Walter.
Awesome. Thank you, Jackie. We'll run right through. Some quick pictures for everyone. So on the left, you'll see the pre-K resilient play area. That was finished, I believe, late last week. On the right, you'll see the sensory courtyard, finished quite a bit ago. Final touches were ongoing over the last couple of days, but it looks great. I don't know if everyone got to see it because it was kind of dark, but it came out looking really great. In the background, you can see the pergola and a lot of the instrumental or music appliances. On the left, you'll see a standard classroom. You'll notice that the staff have been in and setting up their rooms. On the right, you'll see the pre-K corridor with the tire tracks on the ground, the tire in the wall, the seating area, the portholes, and the courtyard and corridors, just the layout of them. Upstairs, or on the left, you'll see upstairs the professional development room for the school. On the right, you'll see a photo of the media center, and above you'll see the cord reels for the science STEM lab area. And there's some casework that is not shown in this picture that is installed. On this side, you'll see an art room, also having the cord reels to bring down the power as opposed to having the floor boxes. On the right, you'll see the ramp. You'll notice the temp railings are in right now. Those are being worked on still. They'll be worked on as they come in. Millwork was behind a little bit. And you see the orchid wall. Doesn't have the graphic on it yet, but great builders will be working on that in the future. On the left, you'll see the gymnasium. You can see the partition wall is up right now, the scoreboard, the gymnasium wall pads, the whiteboards, the Blanche Ames school logo, the small chin-up bars. Everything in the gymnasium is nearly wrapped up. On the right, you'll see the cafeteria set up. The caf tables are in, the large caf tables, the smaller caf tables, and the platform. Everything in the cafeteria is really finished up well, and it looks great. Some site photos, you'll just see the temporary staging has been cleared off the roof, probably one more ladder, a couple pieces of sidewalk went in over the last month. On the right, you'll see plantings continued. So on the left, you see the plantings right there in the corner of the screen. They're gone in the final picture. So everything's moving right along with that. And then on the left, you'll see back in November what it looked like versus in December. Had a little bit of snow. So it was a little bit dark, a little bit icy, but moving right along. We'll buzz right through and I can go back to questions after. So on cash flow update, billed to date is $69.1 million. MSBA reimbursement to date is $26.5 million. And there are $2.4 million pending MSBA audit. Construction look ahead schedule. It's really going to be a few items on completion for construction that were not critical to substantial completion and life safety. So there are a few of those throughout the building. In the building, it'll be punch list over the next month and a half. Contract will be working over the next week and a half, and then during the regular day, and then after that, it'll be off hours and weekends for them completing their punch list. Phase 2 will be ramping up here very quickly. We have had some pre-con demolition meetings with the contractors. The fence is going up. So on the 27th, Spooner Street access will note at the school. You'll have Spooner Street all the way to Bankston, the paper road, and then it'll be closed off, and phase 2 will be fenced in, and the building will begin abatement on December 27th, the morning of the 27th, so next week. Final move is going to be occurring over the next few days, so it'll take place tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and then again on Tuesday and Wednesday. So moving right along with everything in the look ahead, really just finalizing stuff up. Quick update on contingency. We've executed $1.293 million in change orders at this point in time. We have an exposure of 661,000. We have available 1.7 million. That's in the construction contingency. As in the soft cost, we still have the $1.26 million available, and then the bid savings still have the 9.759 million available from that. We are 83% of the way through the project at this point in time, with about just a little over 16% left. So we're moving right along. Nothing big on change orders at this time to discuss with the group. We do not have any, Chad and Dan, if I am missing something, I didn't have any discretionary PCOs that needed the committee vote. If we had any, just jump in at any point in time. I don't believe we did.
None.
So FF&E and IT budget update. On the right-hand side, you'll see our Excel spreadsheet. This is where we're tracking exposure for that. The left is executed contracts. So you'll notice the discrepancy in these two. Tonight we have 4 items we wanted to bring to the committee. These have POs already. They're in process. Digital display units for the second floor. These were, unfortunately, not unfortunately, they should have been wrapped into the original pricing. They were not shown on the floor plans. They were shown in the elevations. So when the FF&E vendor was pricing it, or when the IT consultant was pricing it, he didn't include them. We should have included them in the original. So it's just for the second floor units for that. There's a few more units on the second floor. I believe it's about 10 units, $17,000. A couple added phones. This is dialers, but it's a few additional phones for the front office desks. Those were not included in the original purchase. The third item there is the CAF2 projector. There will be a credit associated with this PCO at some point in time. We need to reconcile that. But at this point in time, this is for the projector for the large cafeteria. It's going to, and this also includes mounting of that. There'll also be another price for the installation of it right now, or for the cabling and setup of that. Right now, this is just hardware and install of the unit itself. So we owned a different projector at a different location, not going to work based on where it was called out to be and how everything ended up being constructed in that area. So it is a very hefty projector. It throws about 55 feet, I believe. So it's going to be mounted under the ramp, secured there, high above everyone's reach, and it's going to throw to the main stage right there. And then the
Walter,
last one,
was this the one that was originally coming down from the ceiling?
this is the one that was originally coming down from the second height ceiling. The other one in CAF 1 also comes down from the ceiling, but yes, this one was coming from the second story, so the two-story height area.
And the reason it was decided that wouldn't work out was?
Quite a few reasons. Dan, if you want to, the cabling wasn't working. The runs were not working.
It was going to be on a 20-foot pole hanging down from that glulam beam in the middle of the space, and it would not have looked very well. So Perkins wanted to move it to the underside of the ramp, which is definitely the right call. And we also, the credit coming from Wally should wash out this ad cost.
Yeah,
pretty close to it.
Absolutely. And then the last piece is the badging printer.
Sorry, this is Jane. What's the credit coming from Wally? What's that for? Just curious.
We had originally purchased the projector through them for that higher location.
Okay, got it.
Basically a swap for that.
It's a wash. Got it. Thank you.
Yep. And then the last one is an Amazon purchase. It's a badging printer. We had tried to get a price through some different vendors. We asked John Souza and Dave Twomley to work this out. So they were able to get a purchase through Amazon, the same printer, half the cost of going through everyone we had priced it from. Same exact printer. I think we had a quote of around $7,800 to procure it through other methods. So they were able to get that. This is going to allow, it'll not only be able to use for Blanche Ames, but other buildings as well, but they'll be able to use the existing cards and just get their identification, their pictures right on it. So the printer that is in use now doesn't have that capability. It's much slower. So they would theoretically need to carry around an ID card and a key card without this printer.
Weren't they going out before to someone else to get these printed? Am I remembering correctly?
Not that I know of. Maybe they were for the ID portion of it because they didn't have that. But
Sam is nodding yes.
Oh, then yes.
Yeah, I know. On the town side, we don't have an ID badge system either.
Yeah, all of our ID badges for staff are printed through our photographers that do our school pictures, but we've had to outsource to them. Now we'll be able to do it in-house and use the badge printer to make it so it's all on one card. So the teacher's ID card and their key card will be one card.
And so much more efficient to be able to do it in-house as well.
Correct.
Very quick. Yep. So at the bottom, you see a buyout summary. Right now, those requested awards total $45,000. Remaining uncommitted is the $30,000. So over on the left, you add those two numbers up. That is that $75,000 that's remaining. The left side is our budget sheet. So until these are approved and we have contracts for them, we don't enter it. But we wanted to show you that we are heading towards that $3 million that was allocated. So the original allocation of of the 1.8 and then brought up to the 3 million. I think at this point in time, to make sure that over the next 2 months, 3 months time period, the PMA team and Perkins Eastman team would like to make a recommendation to this group to authorize, Chad, 200,000, 250,000 of soft cost contingency to be utilized, so that we don't run into an issue where we're going back and forth between the committee trying to finalize. We are tracking a few other items. I believe I have 4 other items that we don't have pricing for yet, but they're in the works. Cafeteria tables, some other pieces of furniture for computers that are right now being kind of stood up on the floor. I know one's in the principal's office. Some IT smallware stuff for cable management that wasn't purchased originally, and a fax machine for the nurse's office. So some items, some FF&E, some IT items, but we just want to make sure that we have the funds available to work this through and get it over to the select board as they come through. So we wanted to bring that up to this committee today.
So it's going to be close. We have 30,000 remaining uncommitted with these items, and then we have that credit coming back from Wally for that first projector, which should bring us to around $50,000 buffer. Those handful of items that Walter just listed don't quite hit 50,000. Walter, I don't know that we need 200 or we're ever going to spend anywhere near 200. It's we're probably honestly pretty close around 50. We just want to be able to keep things moving in the event that something goes over by a few $1,000 to give some buffer there.
And can I just ask a question just to clarify? So we're talking about items that weren't in the original kind of list of things, that these are things that have kind of, as the project, as we've coming to wrap up and we're realizing, oh, we needed this piece of equipment as opposed to this piece of equipment, or we hadn't considered needing a fax in the nurse's office and now we need one. So you're nodding yes, Chad. So I'm assuming that's an accurate, right. My next question is just kind of, so with the exception of the items that you just talked about, the Wally items, the 4 items that are here, can I assume that all of our other equipment is installed, tested, working, everything's good to go?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Our FF&E, on FF&E, we have a few straggling items. I think we have a cafeteria table that doesn't have seats. Just one of them. They just don't have the tops on them yet. And then there's a small punch list of items, and then some various small items that they just haven't shown up yet, that were back ordered, that I don't think there's anything, Sam, feel free to let me know, but I don't think there's anything that would prevent any of those classrooms from fully functioning on January.
Right. That's my question, is that when teachers walk into their classrooms on January 3rd, that everything that needs to work and be there is going to be working and be there.
Correct. I don't think we have any desks or chairs missing. So it's random furniture pieces throughout the building.
Their technology will work. Everything's been tested for that. Right.
Yep. Okay. We're working on that. We're working on that right now as we go.
Okay.
But technology, the only thing, and John Souza's been absolutely awesome to work with. He's actually gonna, as soon as those other schools close down, he's gonna go grab a few network switches aren't in yet. He's gonna go grab them and liven them up over the week, next week. He's just waiting until the other schools close. But we have temp solutions that we've had in the works already for 4 or 5 months through John. So we're ready to go for January 3rd.
Because the switches are back ordered right now, right? There's a delay in them, right?
Yeah. Right.
Correct. Yep.
Is there anything else critical that's back ordered?
Nothing critical that's back ordered. No, nothing that would stop the school from opening at all. Nope.
Okay. Well, there's a difference between stopping the school from opening and making it very challenging for those folks who are working in the school to work. There's
nothing, Sam. Okay. Nothing challenging that we're aware of.
Thank you. I'm being a little picky, Uni, and I apologize.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yeah, could I, and I was a couple minutes late for the meeting, so maybe this is a different item, but you guys just want to walk through for the school. Not everyone has been in the building. When was the last time? A lot of folks, the last time they were in the building was
last month.
Yeah, and the building's probably changed a lot in the past There's been some very late nights and plenty of weekend hours for some of our friends. So do you have any kind of like overview summary of that, Chad, Walter, you want to give it? Those are reasonable questions, Jane.
No, we have a slide that we were going to get to. We just
Right.
Okay.
Be patient. We'll be patient. We'll be patient.
No, that's okay. That's all right. It doesn't have like a pretty picture with it. We were going to speak to it, but we absolutely have that update. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. So Chad, are you thinking bring this up 50,000?
Walter, I'm almost tempted with that credit in there. We might be able to get through the next meeting and there might not be anything. If something pops up, we have that option to send out the email to the full committee on those discretionary changes so we can use that if it's absolutely urgent.
All right, not a problem. We'll work through that. That's fine. We'll move on to the next item. So sorry, we have one more little item before we get to the big update. So a couple lingering items on the wastewater treatment plant. Again, no issues with the functionality of it. Fans and blowers are going in this week. We've been told that they may straggle into next week. Following that, there's a ladder that needs to be installed on the interior, and that'll go in. Downspouts were completed. The trailer is going to leave once the ground freezes. They just don't want to pull it out on top of soft loam. And then the only other piece on the wastewater treatment plant is that it's not the wastewater treatment plant contractor's issue. During phase 1B, the site contractor for the school project was unable to keep the monitoring well that used to be at the flagpole at the Easton Middle School. They ended up accidentally burying it. So they installed a new well yesterday. They were told to install it within 5 feet of the existing one. So they were given coordinates. It was cheaper for them to put a new well in than uncover the old one and find it and resurrect it. That has been sent over to Stantec, over to Weston Sampson, for them to confirm that there's no other outstanding items for that. We believe that item's closed. So there's really some minor issues at wastewater treatment plant to wrap up, and we're finalizing paperwork with that contractor as well. And then TCO update. TCO substantial completion. So TCO, CO is temporary certificate of occupancy. CO, final certificate of occupancy. Substantial completion, a few different definitions. Certificate of substantial completion, so 99% complete or beneficial use to the owner, was achieved on 12/20 yesterday. Insurance went live for the building, I believe, late yesterday afternoon. So the building is under the care of the school district at this point. That goes hand in hand with the building department issuing the temporary certificate of occupancy. They handed us a 6-month TCO, which will get us through May 23rd. That is past the final completion date of the project, I believe is it April 17th or April 26th? Right around there, I'll get that date. But those should be wrapped up by that time. As Connor had alluded to, yes, over the past month or so, there's been quite a few late nights from Great Builders, from Perkins Eastman, from the DPW, just everyone throwing hours at this to make sure it gets done and help the contractor get over the last final hurdles. The last 2 weeks were specifically dedicated to making sure the life safety items and beneficial use for this building were addressed. They were addressed to the satisfaction of the building inspector. They were addressed to the satisfaction of the architect. Affidavits were provided. We're really happy and really glad to say that today students walked through the building, I believe for the first time. It was the center school students, Sam? Yep. So center school came with their teachers. They saw their classrooms. They saw the principal's office. They saw the gymnasium. They saw everything in the building, and spent 2 or 3 hours in the building and walked through the entire thing. It was pretty good to see the teachers walking through, and everyone had a big smile on their face.
But it's okay if you're on the phone.
Come on.
So.
You're on the phone.
Can I ask?
So that's absolutely. That's everything I have. So go for it if there's any questions.
So I'm just thinking, I know that one of the things that you said in terms of the temporary occupancy permit is that the building has now been turned over to the owner. What does that mean in terms of things like utility and electrical costs, particularly because normally we wouldn't probably have a building running at night and on the weekends, but it sounded like from a punch list perspective that the building will be running at night and on the weekends.
Yep. So your building is absolutely going to be running at all times. It'll go into an unoccupied mode based on the BMS for the HVAC controls. The 12/20 date is the hard date of when the utility bills are transferred into the town's name. That being said, the lighting control programming is still going on. So there's going to be a discussion regarding the electricity use from the time that that's not complete, from 12/20 until the time that's not complete. So there'll be a further discussion between PMA, Perkins Eastman, the town, and Brate Builders to negotiate that portion of it. But
Okay.
gas bills on 12/20 and other utility bills, phones, internet become
And that's not expected to be higher than might be normal if we didn't have workers in there at night and in the evening.
I don't anticipate. I mean, it's
Okay.
a
You understand my question.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be drawing a significant Chad, Dan, feel free to come in. They're good. They're going to be using hand tools, maybe.
Yeah, we won't turn the heat up for them.
That'll keep them moving.
They don't need
That's right. It'll keep them moving fast.
Well, and Walter, specifically to Jane's question on the lighting control system, obviously we're going to have to negotiate it, but I'll make the town's posture clear. We're going to try and back charge any of those incremental costs to Brate. But I mean, the not having folks in it, we can't, now that it's owned by the district, we can't, and I think Dr. will be very displeased with us if we had construction folks in there during school hours.
Oh, absolutely.
So they have, and that's going to be, we're going to have to work with Brate and put that on them. You know, we're all really psyched that we got it there yesterday, but yesterday was supposed to be October 14th.
Right. That's exactly. And then I think my next follow-up question is, and again, that has to do with the discrepancy between the October 14th and yesterday's date. And this is probably a question for Sam, perhaps, is that I'm just, obviously there were things that were supposed to happen between October 14th and yesterday's date. I'm imagining in terms of, moving and access to the space and teachers getting over there and having opportunities to unpack and get settled or whatever. How has that impacted kind of the teachers who need access to the building in terms of the fact that we didn't get a certificate of substantial completion until yesterday? Or has it, Sam? Because
No.
I don't know the details of all that stuff that was supposed to happen between when we were supposed to have our substantial completion and yesterday.
So we were supposed to have substantial completion in October. However, we came to an understanding that contractually with our teachers union and things like that, we knew that they needed to get into the building. So teachers for Blanche Ames only were allowed to access the buildings. So we stayed right on schedule with that aspect. Beginning December 5th, any teacher could access the building from 4 to 8 p.m. and begin unpacking their stuff and setting up their new classroom spaces. And they have been given time throughout this month to go over. I mean, there are rooms that look like they probably could have been taught out of today and are getting kids in tomorrow. So
it's really incredible. They've done amazing.
I mean, I can't say anything more about our amazing staff. They have really and continue to do such an outstanding job, given the time crunches, schedule changes that have come with this project. They continue to show that they are the best staff that we could ever ask for. The rooms look amazing. There's still some stuff to do. So our final move takes place tomorrow from Parkview. And again, with the contract the way it is, we actually lose ownership of Parkview tomorrow afternoon. So Center School students were able to visit Blanche Ames today. Moreau Hall students are coming to visit tomorrow morning. And then when we lose occupancy of Parkview on Thursday, they will be spending the half-day early release day on Friday at Blanche Ames for their turn. So by the end of this week, all students outside of preschool, unfortunately, because we cannot transport them on school buses, all K-2 students will have had a chance to go into the building, take a tour, and see their new classroom spaces prior to winter vacation.
Great. Great, thank you. And I'm gonna echo kind of your thoughts. I'm sure that, although I don't imagine educators are watching this, I'm sure they have way better things to do with their time. That on behalf of the school planning committee, I can't thank our educators who have had to kind of work through this and live through this process enough. You know, I've seen it before when we renovated and expanded a middle school and high school, and teachers really have to step up, and this didn't happen over a summer. There wasn't a lot of breathing room. I mean, this is happening over a winter break, and our educators are really to be, and you as well, Sam, and everybody who stepped up are really to be commended. And I think I'd just like them to know that it is not going unnoticed in terms of what people have had to do to make this happen. Hopefully 8 weeks from now, we're all going to look back and go, oh.
Exactly. And parents have been kept in the loop also. So they all were notified, again, as soon as humanly possible, with all of our schedule changes this week. As soon as we got occupancy of the building, all parents were informed that students would be visiting this week. And today, all students went home with a hard copy of all of the procedures that parents need to know for the opening of school in January. So they have been given information on drop-off, pickup, arrival, dismissal, breakfast, lunch, you name it. We've tried to give them everything they need, as well as a traffic flow map. So all of those things that we could hope that they will need has been sent home, backpacked today, and I'm going to email a electronic version this evening. So hopefully we're getting everybody into the loop, and we'll be good to go once school is ready to start again.
Well, and the reality is there's going to be some bumps. We need to expect that first. Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely.
So as Sam just mentioned, traffic flow, the connector road is open. It is tied in at Lothrop Street and all the way up to the middle school. So happy to let everyone know that entire issue has been taken care of. And then just one other, and I know everyone in the building already knows how much time he's put in, but Kenny Flanagan has been, you know, a rock star for the town, taking care and locking up the building. He's been there just as much as every contractor over the past month and a half, and he's been really helpful for the PMA team and the contractor as well as the DPW, both groups.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. They've all been really, really wonderful. I don't know what we would have done without them.
Yep, absolutely. So that's everything the PMA team had. We have our next meeting scheduled for January 18th. I don't believe PMA has any new business at this point in time, Chad or Dan. So Jackie, I'll turn it over back to you if you guys have any new business or anything else you want to ask the PMA team or the Perkins Eastman team as we head towards phase 2 and opening on January 3rd.
Thanks, Walter. Does anyone have any questions, comments, anything? New business, anything? Connor?
Jackie, if I could, for PMA, we've all been understandably extremely focused on, I think it's phase 1, there's A and B, but the building for getting the kids in, and Jane's concerns I agree with, but I went and pulled minutes from 3 years ago, right after the override was passed in December of 19, and what we were given back then was end of October for new building and moving in January 2nd. So I still, the tight timeline and the final stretch aside, which you know, for us to be where we are now, I'm really proud of the whole team and everyone who did everything they had to do, particularly in this last stretch, whether that was, you know, teachers moving in at night, building and fire code inspectors being there pretty constantly, janitors, public works, our electricians, people were just really great. The design and project teams have been awesome. And, you know, this committee first met 5.5 years ago. So this is a huge milestone for us and for the community. So it definitely was a ton of work. There's plenty left to do, but this is it. It feels somewhat anticlimactic to be talking about this very matter-of-factly on Zoom. So hopefully we'll all be together in person at some point after the new year, so we can high five for that. Moving into phase two, from a meeting in January, can we just get like a kind of general summary and look ahead on what does that actually look like? Because I know, speaking just for myself, I've also been focused a lot on phase one. So I know, Parkview is going to start getting abated and demolished in like 3 business days. So that schedule is really aggressive, like we've been the whole time. So I don't know what that actually kind of just looks and feels like.
Yeah,
April
absolutely.
as a date, but I thought maybe it was summer. In fact, we can all get brought up to speed on that. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like that would be pretty helpful.
No, we can certainly give a full update on that. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, it's probably not going to be very visible other than the fencing and maybe the trucks going in and out. The building is going to be contained. PMA is not going to be in that building, a Parkview building. Perkins is not going to be in there. It's going to be licensed professionals cleaning, abating that building under negative pressure. So it's going to be quieter. It's going to be not visible. And then, once that abatement starts, the plan is to do about half that building moving west to east. So the west side of that building would be the first portion to be demolished. And we'll give a better update next month as we're moving through it as well. But it's going to be abatement followed by demolition, followed by site work, awesome. And then installation of playground structures and items like that. Yep.
And then one last question. Sam, huge credit to you as well. And I hope you guys are super stoked to be moving in for real. I know, so the Lothrop Street connector was paved, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. It's all blended together at this point. Yeah. But that's done now. That's going out to families, and we are planning there's going to be some kind of public update on that towards the end of the week as well for folks. So through like Guilfoyle or something like that, just so people understand, because I think Spooner Street closes. Is that right?
Once you pass the Paper Road, Bankston Street, correct, there'll be a man gate there, and that'll be the entrance on December 27th. It will not close until December 27th.
Okay, but so is that traffic flow pattern being put out publicly in some way?
Are you talking to Sam or to PMA?
Yeah, anyone in the schools. Just for obviously the first priority is parents dropping kids off, but a lot of folks drive through that complex in that area.
I know Dr. Cabral is publishing a newsletter in the coming days, and that'll go out to all of the EPS community. As far as the community at large, I'm not sure.
So, Connor, we can touch base with. I know Dr. Cabral's on. We can touch base with her and see if it's something else that needs to be shared somewhere. I think what Leisha has or what Dr. Cabral has could probably be shared as well.
We could do a press release, something like that, to get out to the broader community as well.
Thank you.
Florence, do you have a question?
No?
Okay. Anyone else?
Did I unmute?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yes. I was trying to unmute, but I have the mute symbol from your side. Sorry. I wanted to know if I could receive some of the information that the parents received in preparation for them bringing the children to the school, so I would know what the traffic pattern will be.
Absolutely, Florence. I'll add you right to my email this evening, so when I send it out to families, you'll get it also.
Thank you so much, Sam. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Thanks, Sam. Anyone else? Okay,
I'd just like to echo
Jane.
Connor's thoughts on reaching this milestone. It's pretty incredible, and as a community, we have a lot to be proud about. On time and under budget.
Under budget.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really,
True,
and it has
true,
in the last month. It really has come a long way. Even day to day, it has changed so much. So maybe we can talk about next month having, if it works out, a meeting in the school so everyone can kind of see. I think that would be nice for everyone to see. Anything else? Okay, so thank you all. Sam, I hope you get some rest over break. You
see
too,
about that.
Walter and Don, and everyone else that's worked on this. And I will take a motion for adjournment.
O'Neill so moved.
Do I have a second?
Martin, second.
Okay. Weintraub,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Vamosi,
Most is yes.
Helen,
Yes.
Cedarbaum,
Yes.
Sabri,
Yes.
and Wiseman is yes. So thank you all so much. Happy holidays and have a great, if you get a vacation this next week, have a great vacation. Good night.
Happy holiday, everyone.